Hello, I am proud to present to you Schedge, our senior capstone project for spring 2026.
Hello, my name is Abdullahad and I worked on the backend as well as building the database.
I'm Valentin Bota de Castro, and I'm a front-end and back-end developer for this project.
My name is Rampas, and I'm a backend developer.
Hello, my name is Patrick Schlegel, and I was also working as a backend developer for Schedge.
Hello, so let's talk about Schedge. What is Schedge? Schedge is a class advising slash building software. We originally started this project because we thought we could improve upon the process of semester scheduling at the University of Utah. And we thought we don't need to wait in long lines or to have advising appointments scheduled way in advance. We want to automate that process. We believe we just want to make the system just simply easier for students. And to build upon that idea, we want advising on your terms. We believe that this information should be accessed anytime, whenever you want, from home, on your own time. You could learn it anywhere and any location. It should be at your own comfort at whenever you want to do it.
We have two main use case scenarios in Schedge. For the first use case, let's pretend we're a new University of Utah student and we want to make a plan for next semester. We have the option of making a single semester plan. We can see a list of all U of U departments and courses so that we can add courses that seem interesting to us. We can also ask our AI advisor to give us suggestions. We can tell the advisor the things we like and the things we don't like and have recommend us courses based on that. Picking a schedule amongst the hundreds of classes offered at U can be incredibly overwhelming for some students. So because we have an AI advisor that's ready to help us anytime, this can help make our lives so much easier. Now, for our second use case, let's pretend we're a current University of Utah student and we want to plan ahead. In this case, we can make a multi-semester plan, which contains several single semester plans. So for example, let's say we want to plan ahead for the following spring, summer, and fall semesters. We can do that. Now, because we're a current student, we have access to a degree audit. So we can upload this degree audit and have an optimal schedule generated for us. This schedule is based on our major and current credits. We're also able to modify this schedule and customize it later if we need to. This automatic schedule can make our lives easier since we don't really have to think about the classes we need to take. We can just keep uploading our degree audits over and over for the following semesters, and we can just keep getting optimal schedules. This can help if we're not sure what to take and we just want to graduate and get it over with. Now, in both of these cases, we can save our work so that we can just come back to it and modify it in the future if we need to.
This is Patrick again, and now we'll be going over a demo of the Schedge software and how some use cases might actually be able to utilize the software to streamline their planning experience. So on the Schedge landing page, when you log in here, you'll see we have the option to select some planning modes, so you can view saved plans, single semester planning, and multi-semester planning. And on the left side here, we have a navigation sidebar so that users can easily navigate between the pages while they're in each one. So with the use case, let's say I'm a freshman student coming in, going into computer science, and I would like to build out my first semester plan, but I'm not too sure where to start with in terms of classes. So we'll jump right in here. We'll go and start building a single semester plan. In here, you can see two main parts. So we have the advisor chat on the left side. This is where the user would be able to talk with the advisor, the AI advisor, and get recommendations for courses. On the right side here, this is where we have the actual schedule visualization, where you can see how your schedule is being built out and click gain information on the courses. We have a few other things here. So we can add courses down here. This is where we can actually browse courses. So we can look through departments, see courses. For example, if we jump into CS here, we can take a look at CS 2100. You can see we've got the description, the number of credits it has. We also have a visualization of the prerequisites that this course requires and which courses it unlocks. So let's go back to our use case, and let's say we want to get a suggestion for the starting programming course. So I'd say, I'm a freshman going into CS. Which programming course would you suggest I start with? So we can go ahead and ask the advisor here, and he gives me a suggestion here. He says, we can start with CS 1400. We can also start with 1420, as we know this is another option for introductory programming at the University of Utah for the computer science program. So we have a course here suggested here. We can go ahead and now type it in here, CS department selected, and we can add it. Here we can now see all of the sections listed for CS 1400. So we can see the spring sections, the fall sections, all the labs and the lectures. So if we just go ahead and put one of these sections in here, you'll see it populates right here into our weekly class schedule. We can also click on this course and get specific information about this specific section. So you can see we have the professor here, we have the description, the courses and unlocks, and a few other things here. So for example, we can take a look at the rate my professor integration, and we can get a visualization of the summary for the ratings for this professor. We can also see the grade distributions for this course over the last 4 years. So this kind of gives an overview of how students are performing in this class. It would help a student get good insight into how difficult this course might be. Let's say we want to add another course. We want to add a gen ed exam, for example, into our first semester plan. So I can go and say, what gen ed would you recommend if I like jazz, for example? And you'll see the chatbot will come back here and they'll say something like music 1236, survey of jazz. So we could go ahead and add that class if we were interested in it. Go music. Right there. 1236, type it in, and we can see the sections here. So we'll go ahead and throw one of these in here, populate our schedule. Same thing, we can click on this course and see the information for it. Let's say we're finished with planning our semester. When we're finished, we have integrated a button right up here, and this will just take the user straight to the course registration where they can go and select their term, and from their course schedule, they can add these courses directly into the University of Utah CIS. So let's look at another use scenario where we are now a computer science student. We're 3 years into the program, and we would like to leverage some of the other features that Schedge offers. So right in here, we want to plan a multi-semester plan, for example, and in here we can add several semesters to plan in sequence. So we can plan each semester individually and build one out. We can also remove ones, add more if we'd like. You can see it does them chronologically in sequence. We've got a nice little summary here as well of all of our courses. We can also save this plan in case we wanted to come back to Schedge in the future and continue working on our planning. So let's jump right into this fall 2026 semester. And one thing I'd like to do is, since I'm a student, I've already been at the U for several years, I would like to leverage the automatic schedule generation that Schedge offers. So what we allow students to do is, with this little plus button down here, they can upload an HTML of their degree audit, which they can get by going to the CIS in the university and downloading the HTML for their audit. Once we've uploaded our audit, you'll see it shows up down here, and Schedge has automatically populated a schedule for us. So it does this based off of the courses we've taken and what's still required for our degree. We can click on these courses, and as before, we can get information on them. We can also modify the schedule in case we didn't want to use it. Another feature that we've implemented is the ability to download a .ics calendar of the schedule. So maybe we want to add this schedule to our calendar, Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, something like that. It will download the ICS and we can upload that to any of those tools. All right, when we're finished with that, we can always go back to this multi-semester plan. It's saved, so we can see we've got our 4 courses in there, our credits, and we can continue planning for the future as we would need. So this has been an overall summary of how some users might use Schedge.
So just a quick overview of our system architecture. Our front end was made using Next.js and Tailwind CSS. Our backend was containerized using Docker. We ran a fast API server, and we used the libraries SQL Alchemy and Beautiful Soup. We used SQL Alchemy to connect to our database, which was PostgreSQL, and we used Beautiful Soup to fetch information from websites like Rate My Professor, as well as the university website for course catalog information. We also had an Olama model running, and all of this was deployed using Cloudflare. So now moving on to our development highlights, we had a total of 101 issues closed, 271 commits across all team members, 41 branches, and 38 API endpoints. About 8 to 10 of those endpoints were just used to test whether our database was working correctly and we were retrieving the right data. And we consulted a total of 11 users to make sure there were no bugs in their system and everything was working well.
It's been a pleasure to work on Capstone this past year, and we thank you so much for watching.